it seems to me there's some spiciness here. We don't think he acted alone. It took a lot of coordination. In my view, Crooks was handled by more than one individual, and he was used for this assassination attempt. And I wouldn't preclude the possibility that there were people at the rally itself helping him. Thoughts on that, Luke?
Yeah, no, there's information right now from the New York Post that the FBI is covering this up. And it wouldn't surprise me if they are, since they were probably a part of trying to take him out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is a larger conspiracy here. The fact that we still don't know the larger details of what's going on here. I mean, there's photos of Crooks on the phone right before taking shots at the president of the United States. He was on the phone. Who was he talking to? How in the world do we still not know who, what, where, the details? This was probably his FBI CIA handler that was giving him the code word for the MK Ultra mind control program. That activated him to be the type of killer that he was on that particular day, that tried to extinguish the life of Donald Trump, but luckily missed. So no, this is just a wild story, and this is why releasing the Epstein list is so critically important, because if they don't do this now, these criminals, these assassins, these people that played a major role in this are still at large here, which means the president of the United States is in danger and everyone else is in danger as well. So we got to get the details out of this particular story. I know Donald Trump a couple days ago ordered the Secret Service to release all of the files regarding his larger assassination attempts that were happening to be delivered to the White House. And I bet they probably were probably the same thing happened, just like
never getting
Bondi, and they were just probably not given everything. The fact that we still don't have the answers here, we have another, as people are chatting right now, another grassy knoll moment. Get out of here. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't add up. And clearly, there was someone else at play here. Who is that someone else? Probably the FBI, the CIA.
What do you make of this, Gothix? Who do you think? Do you think he was ordering DoorDash?
I don't think so. Of course, other people are involved in this. I mean, if you look at all the details of this almost assassination attempt, it clearly looked like there was some people overlooking the security of those buildings, and there's a lot of unanswered, theories. And I mean, yeah, he definitely isn't acting alone, and I think they are withholding that information because they should have it by now. Clearly, if you're seeing this report, they know something and they're not sharing it. And I think that's for a reason.
What do you think, Gothix, about the fact that his parents still don't leave the house until 3 a.m. at night? I understand maybe why they did it in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm implying here is, do they know something? What happened? Remember when they searched his house and there was no silverware? Isn't that weird? Why was there no silverware at his house?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. When they searched his house, there was no silverware and there was no trash. And no trash in the trash cans. If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Luke.
No, I think you're on it, yeah.
So, I understand in the beginning, the parents, let's say even if you knew nothing, you're like, gosh, I don't want to get, harassed by the media. What do you make of it 9 months later? There's still, and neighbors have said they never leave the house except for at 3 a.m. to go get groceries. What do you make of that?
Strange, especially with the lawyer that they hired for all of this. That also has some weird, shadowy intel agency connections here. Clearly, this was a larger op. There's nothing else to conclude here. The fact that we don't have any answers yet concludes that it's people that are sinister within our very own government that were a part of the larger plot to take him out. And it makes sense when you start looking at the larger kind of ways that they were trying to stop Trump. First, they censored him on all social media. They prevented him from having a voice. You couldn't even play a clip of Donald Trump on YouTube because YouTube would take your video down if you weren't talking about how bad or horrible he was, or if you were just an independent media organization talking about the news, automatically taken down. Then they raided his home. Then they spied on him. Then they investigated him. Then they charged him. Then they tried to get him to be in jail for 700 years. Then they convicted him. Then they made him a felon. Now that didn't work. It was all backfiring. The last stop was take him out. And luckily they failed here and weren't successful. But now they're covering up. And again, As soon as it happened, I'm like, I was saying
as soon as he missed, they deleted the files.
He was picking his VP, and when he was picking his VP, I specifically said he needs to pick a strong VP that's more of a badass than he is, more of an anti-establishment figure, and needs to have assassination-proof type of people around him that are going to take his charge if they do take him out. I was already weeks before his assassination attempt the first time around saying they're going to try to take him out. I was telling that to my viewers. It's going to a concession of next steps. The next step is they're going to try to kill him. And then a couple weeks after me saying that, and other people in the independent media that were also saying that, they tried to kill him
twice.
Yep.
They tried again like a few weeks later. Gothix, what do you make of the? So it says that this private investigator who released this report was led not once but twice to the county line and told to leave during his investigation. Does that sound like they're not covering anything up to you?
That's suspicious. That's very suspicious, of course.
And his they tried to paint this guy as like some like super genius or as some like loner. But he actually had like a 1670 on his SATs. That's a near perfect score for those of you at home. Like in this report, they also alleged that he thought there were pharmaceuticals involved, and that in the autopsy they did not do a pharmaceutical screen, which they normally would in a case like this. Any spidey senses tingling for you, Gothix?
I mean, this was an inside job. That's always been my stance. Is this was an inside job, and wasn't this the same guy? This shooter, wasn't he the same guy that they found in like a BlackRock commercial or something like that? Yeah, this is an inside job.
Yeah, I mean, what do you make of the no pharmaceutical autopsy, Luke?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me since they, burned the body right away, right?
Yeah,
and hid it away, and then the corporate media, social media started to obfuscate all of this in lockstep together. So truly, this was a larger failed operation as the corporate media, all in unison, were singing the same tune, and then they started to again spin back more negative news coverage of Donald Trump right afterwards, while trying to underplay the significance of this. It's criminal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I think I said 1670. I think I mean 15. I think it was 1570 out of 1600. So near whatever that is, near perfect. And
then they power washed the roof afterwards, and then
the next morning.
Yeah,
and they power washed it, and they had, the snipers who would have seen this dork from the window just so happened to forget his key and lock himself up. What a coincidence!
Yeah. He was just in line of sight of all the other snipers that were looking at him the whole time.
Yeah, right.
As he had a rifle on the roof, as people were looking at him, and they still allowed him to take 8 shots before taking him out.
Yeah,
that's the criminality right there. It's like you see him on the roof, right? You see him with a rifle, you don't take him out. You still allow
take him out immediately there, and then you say, if it turns out it was some wild protester, you say, well, you shouldn't have been up on that roof looking like sorry,
Nope.
Sorry. This is what you act like this is what you're running across the roof acting suspiciously, and you got. Sorry, that's what you get. That's how you handle it. You don't wait for him to pop off 8 rounds and almost take out the president and then kill Corey Comparator and injure 2 other people. The whole thing. By the way, they also burned the body, to ashes and never told anybody that they were releasing the body. All this stuff. I would have, if this guy, let's say this was just some weird Redditor running across a building to get like a better camera angle or something like that, or to like display some anti-Trump sign, and he got domed, I would have done a video immediately and called him an idiot and say that he was asking for it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a camera and a rifle, or
right. But let's say they just popped him running across the roof. I wouldn't have cared.
He was literally on top of police headquarters of the staging ground. He was literally in the building where Secret Service and local police officers were staging. Right.
Yeah.
He was literally on top of them. That again, it's just like the magic bullet theory. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. There's no way that all of this unfolded the way it did here. And I think Trump needs to realize priority number one. And a lot of people are like, but what about the trans sports that Pam Bondi's working on?
I know.
We can wait a little bit. We can wait. I don't mean to be insensitive, but we could wait a week or two for women's sports to be destroyed. No one cares about women's sports. Sorry, Gothix, but women's sports sucks.
I don't care about women's sports.
It's pointless, especially women's UFC and WNBA. It is painful to watch. Torture me rather than force me to watch that. But I would rather destroy all women's sports. Frick it. Forget it.
All sports.
All sport. Priority number one. Rein in the FBI and the CIA from being able to take shots at you again. All right? Rein them in. Get rid of their extortion operations immediately. That's priority number one.